Hello everyone, I am Preetshika, Assistant Professor Babu Banarsi Das University, Lucknow. Today I am going to discuss a very important topic of cardiovascular system, that is the anatomy of heart. In this topic we will discuss about the structure of heart and its internal structure. So starting our topic, the heart is a roughly cone-shaped hollow muscular organ. It is about 10 centimeter long and it is about the size of the owner fist. The weight of the heart varies in men and women. It is heavier in men. The weight of heart in women is 225 gram and in men it is 310 gram. The second is the location of the heart. The heart is present in the superior surface of diaphragm. It is located left of the middle and anterior to the vertebral column and posterior to the sternum. Now we will understand the position of heart by this diagram. So here is the diaphragm. Diaphragm is a muscle plate which separate the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. We can see here that the heart is present in the superior surface of the diaphragm, means it is present in the upper side of the diaphragm, in the superior surface of the diaphragm. The next is the cross section view of heart. Here we can see the heart, and this is the vertebral column. The heart is present anterior to the vertebral column. The next is the this is the thoracic cavity, and this line which separate the thoracic cavity is known as sternum. The heart is present posterior to the sternum, at the back side of the sternum. So via this diagram it is clear the position of heart in the body. The next is the covering of heart. uh, our heart is covered by a membrane for the protection of heart. The heart is surrounded by the membrane is known as pericardium. A double walled sac around the heart which is composed of two layers: a superficial layer which is known as fibrous pericardium, and a two deep layer which is known as serous pericardium. Serous pericardium is further divided into two layers: the parietal layer and the visceral layer. The parietal layer lies in the internal surface of the fibrous pericardium, and the visceral layer or epicardium lying the surface of the heart. These both layer, the parietal layer and the visceral layer, are separated by a fluid field in the space which is known as the parietal pericardial cavity. Here is a transverse section of heart wall muscle. The heart wall is composed of three layers: the outermost layer, the pericardium layer, the middle layer, the myocardium layer, and the innermost layer, the endocardium layer. As we know that the pericardium layer is made up of two layers: the superficial layer, the fibrous pericardium, and the two deep layer, the serous pericardium, which is further divided into the parietal pericardium and the visceral pericardium. And the space between between two layers, which is filled with a fluid and known as the pericardial cavity, and this fluid provide lubrication to the heart when the heart beats. Now coming to the function of the pericardium protects and anchors the heart. It prevents the overfilling of heart with blood and also allowed for the heart to work in a relatively friction free environment. The heart wall. As we know that the heart wall is composed of three layers: the innermost layer the endocardium layer, the middle layer the myocardium, and the outermost layer which protect the heart is the pericardium layer. The endocardium lines the chambers and walls of the heart. It is a thin, smooth membrane to ensure smooth flow of blood through the heart. It consists of flattened epithelial cells and it is continuous with the endothelium lining the blood vessels. The myocardium is the middle layer of the heart. It is composed of specialized cardiac muscle found only in the heart and location of muscle fibers responsible for the pumping of heart. Pericardium already studies it the outermost layer of the heart which prevent and anchors the heart. The myocardium is composed of the specialized cardiac muscle found only in the heart. It is a stated like skeleton muscle, but it is not under voluntary control. The myocardium is supported by a network of fine fibers that run through all the heart muscle, and this called the fibrous skeleton of the heart. Now the function of myocardium. Myocardium provide a scaffolding for the heart chambers, assisting in contraction and relaxation of the cardiac walls so that the blood can pass between the chambers. It also conducting the electrostimulation through its own tissue and into the epicardium. The next is the endocardium. Endocardium is the innermost layer of the heart that lines to the chambers and walls of the heart. It is a thin, smooth membrane to ensure smooth flow of blood through the heart. It consists of flattened epithelial cell and it is continuous with the endothelial lining of the blood vessels. The function of endocardium, it provides protection to the walls and heart chambers. Endocardium, which is primarily made up of epithelial cells, control the myocardial function. The next is the organ associated with the heart. Interferely, the apex rests on the central tendon of the diaphragm. Superiorly, the great vessels, the aorta, the superior vena cava, the pulmonary artery, and the pulmonary veins. Posteriorly, the esophagus, the trachea, right and left bronchus, inferior vena cava, and thoracic vertebrae. Laterally, the lungs, the left lung overlap the left side of the heart, interiorly the sternum, ribs, and the intercostal muscle. The next is the interior of the heart. The heart is divided into two sides, the right and the left. The heart is divided into right and left side by a muscle called the septum. And as we know that the heart is divided into four chambers, the right atrium, the left atrium, the right ventricle, and the left ventricle. And there is a separation of wall in the right atrium, between the right atrium and the right ventricle, uh, by a muscle layer which is called tricuspid layer. Tri means three and cuspid means muscle layer. It is made up of three muscle layers, so it is called the tricuspid layer. And same on the left side, there is a separation of the left atrium and the left ventricle by a muscle plate which is called of bicuspid. This or a middle layer, it is made up of two muscle layers, so it is called the bicuspid layer. The two largest vein, the interior vena cava and superior vena cava, collect the blood from the body. The superior vena cava collect the blood from the upper side of the body, and the inferior vena cava collect the blood from the lower side of the body and entry the blood into the atrium. And then the blood from the atrium passes into the right ventricle and reaches to the lung. and from there it is pumped into the pulmonary artery, the only artery in the body which carries the deoxygenated blood. After leaving the heart, the pulmonary artery divided into left and right pulmonary arteries which carries the venomous blood to the lungs, where exchange of gases take place. The carbon dioxide is excreted and the oxygen is absorbed. Then the two pulmonary veins from each lung carries the oxygenated blood to the left atrium. Blood then passes through the left atrium into the left ventricle. From there it is pumped into the aorta. The aorta supply the blood to the whole body. The next is the chamber of heart. As we know that the heart contained of four chambers, two atria, the right and the left, two ventricles, the right and the left. Arteries are the two upper chambers, they receive the blood, and ventricles are the two lower chambers, they discharge the blood. A wall of muscle called the septum separate the left and the right atria and the left and the right ventricle. The left ventricle is the largest and the strongest chambers in your body. The left ventricle chamber walls are the only about a half-inch thick, but they have enough force to push blood through the aortic valve and into your body. The next is the flow of blood through the heart. How the blood flow through the heart, the mechanism behind the flow of blood. Basically, the two largest veins of the body, the superior vena cava, which collects the blood from the upper side of the body, and the inferior vena cava collects the blood from the lower side of the body. After then they empty their contents into the right atrium. The blood passes via the right atrium walls into the right ventricle and enters to the lungs. From there, it is pumped into the pulmonary artery, the only artery in the body which carries the deoxygenated blood. After leaving the heart, the pulmonary artery divided into the left and right pulmonary arteries, which carries the venomous blood to the lungs, where exchange of the gases take places. Carbon dioxide is excreted and oxygen is absorbed. The two pulmonary veins from each lungs carry oxygenated blood back to the left atrium. Blood then passes through the left atrium into the left ventricle and from there pumped into the aorta. Then the aorta supply the whole blood to the body. This is the basic mechanism by which the blood from the heart distributes to the other organs in the body. This diagram basically represents the internal structure of the heart. The heart, as we know that the heart is divided into two sides, the right side and the left side, and these two sides are separated by a middle line of muscle called the septum. The four chambers, the right atrium, the left atrium, the right ventricle and the left ventricle. These right atrium and right ventricle further divided by a muscle layer which is known as tricuspid tricuspid wall. Same for the left side. The left atrium and the left ventricle were separated by a muscle layer which is known as bicuspid muscle layer. The two largest veins, the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava, collect the blood from the body and enters into the atrium, where the deoxygenated blood is converted into oxygenated blood by the pulmonary system. Then the aorta carried the oxygenated blood and supply to the whole body. And this is the basic anatomy of the heart and the blood flow through the heart. The next is the physiology of heart. Physiology is basically the study of the function of structure of the heart. The study of heart comes under the cardiovascular system. The cardiovascular the cardiac word, it's heart, and the vascular is blood vessel. Is a system divided for description purpose into two main parts. First, the heart, whose pumping action ensure constant circulation of the blood flow. The second is the blood vessels, which form a lengthy network through which the blood flows. The next is the blood vessels. Blood vessels are intricate networks of hollow tubes that transport blood throughout the entire body. Blood vessels are the pipe-like structure through which the blood is flowing throughout the body. There are three main types of blood vessels, which are arteries, which carries blood away from the heart, the veins, which return blood to the heart, and the capillaries, which link between the arteries and the veins. The three types of blood vessels: arteries, which carries blood away from the heart. Arteries are blood vessels through which the oxygenated blood flows. The veins return blood to the heart. The veins are blood vessels through which deoxygenated blood flows, and the capillaries um, connect arteries to veins and exchange the material with the body tissue. The capillaries contain both the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood flow, and is only the blood vessels that contain both the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood. As we know that our heart has four chambers: uh, right atrium, right left ventricle, and right ventricle. When the blood ejected out from the left ventricle, it enters into the aorta, then distributed to the whole body. The blood vessel transport blood throughout the body. This consists of artery, arterioles, capillary, venules, and veins. So, how these blood vessels work? The arteries carries oxygenated blood from the heart and eventually merge with the arterioles. The arteries and arterioles carries the oxygenated blood. Then the smallest arterioles break up into number of minute vessels, which is known as capillaries. Capillaries are the finest structure of the blood vessels which supplies oxygen and nutrients to the tissues and cells. Supply the oxygen and nutrients to the cell and collect the waste products, carbon dioxide, from the cells or tissues. When they supply oxygen or nutrients to the cell, they carry the oxygenated blood. After collecting waste product from the cells, they carry the deoxygenated blood due to the presence of the carbon dioxide. Then the deoxygenated blood then passes to the venules. The venules merge into the veins and carry the blood back to the heart. The deoxygenated blood to the heart for the purification. So by this diagram, we can see the relationship between the heart and different types of blood vessels. The aorta from the heart supplies the oxygenated blood to the whole body by the help of arteries. The arteries are further divided into fine branches which are known as arterioles, carries the oxygenated blood. Then these smallest arterioles break up into the minute vessels which are known as capillaries. The capillaries are the finer structure of the blood vessels which supplies the oxygen and nutrient to the cell and collect the waste product from the cells and the tissues. Then it carries the deoxygenated blood which passes to the venules. The venules merge into the veins and carried out the blood back to the deoxygenated blood back to the heart. The next is the blood vessel wall. The blood vessel wall have three layers: tunica intima, the innermost layer; tunica media, the middle layer; and the tunica externa, the outermost layer, which can be seen by this diagram. This is the artery and this is the vein. The artery, the vein, both consist of three layers: an outer tunica externa, the medium with the tunica media, and the innermost the tunica intima. And the space between these vessels is known as lumen. And the capillary consists of a single layer of epithelial cells, that is the tunica intima. Tunica intima, also known as tunica interna, it is an endothelial layer that lines the lumen of the vessel. In this vessel, subendothelial connective tissue basement membrane is present, and this vessel is larger than 1 mm. The second is the tunica media, which is made up of smooth muscle and elastic fibers layer, which is regulated by the sympathetic nervous system, which is a part of autonomic nervous system. The elastic fibers of the tunica media provide a stretch and contraction of the blood vessels. This is due to the tunica media, and in tunica media due to the elastic fibers. So it controls the vasoconstriction and vasodilation of the blood vessels. Vasoconstriction means the size of lumen decreases, and in vasodilation the size of lumen increases. The next is the tunica externa. It is made of collagen fibers and protect the reinforced vessel, larger vessel that contain the vasa vasorum. Vasa vasorum, they are the vessels of blood vessels because they supply the blood to the another blood vessels. The next are the arteries and the arterioles. These are the blood vessels that transport blood away from the heart. They vary in size, and their walls consist of three layers: the tunica intima, tunica media, and tunica externa. The amount of the muscular and elastic tissue varies in the arteries depending upon the size of and function. In the large arteries, including the aorta, sometimes called elastic arteries, the tunica media contains more elastic tissue and less smooth muscle. This allows the vessel wall to stretch, absorbing the presence wave generated by the heart at its beats. These proportions gradually changes as the arteries branch many times and become smaller until the arterioles. The tunica media consist almost entirely of the smooth muscle. This enables their diameter to be precisely controlled, which regulates the pressure within them. The next is the capillaries and the sinusoids. Capillaries are the fine structure of blood vessels. The smallest arterioles break up into a number of minute vessels, which are called as capillaries. which are known as capillaries. Capillaries wall consists of a single layer of endothelial cell sitting on a very thin basement membrane through which water and other small molecule can pass. The capillaries form a vast network of tiny vessels that link the smallest arterioles to the smallest venules. And the diameter of the capillaries is 7 micrometer. In certain places, including the liver and bones marrow, the capillaries are significantly wider and leakier than normal. And these capillaries are called as sinusoids. And because their walls are incompleted and their lumen is much larger than usual, blood flow through them more slowly under less pressure and can come directly into contact with the cell outside the sinusoid wall. So this allows much faster exchange of substances between the blood and the tissues. Usually, for example, in the liver, which regulates the composition of blood arriving from the gastrointestinal tract. So sinusoids are slightly larger than capillaries and are found in the adrenal glands, liver, spleen, and bone marrow. Sinusoids have large gaps between endothelial cell. The basal lamina is either discontinuous or absent. Many times it is absent. As a result, sinusoids are considerably more permeable and are capable of considerable rapid nutrient exchange. Endothelial cells lying hepatic sinusoids are uh, interspersed by macrophages, which have an important phagocytic function. The next is the veins and venules. The veins are formed when the venules coverage. It is composed of three tunicas with a thin tunica media and a thick tunica externa consisting of a collagen fibers and the elastic network. Capacitance vessels, blood reservoirs that contain 65% of the blood surplus. As we know that the veins return blood at the low pressure to the heart, the walls of the veins are thinner than the arteries but have the same three layer of tissues. Mm, they are thinner because there is less muscle and elastic tissue in the tunica media, as veins carries blood at a lower pressure than arteries. So the vein collapse while the thicker walled arteries remain open. And some of the vein possess walls which prevent backflow of the blood that ensure its flow towards the heart. And these vessels are formed by a fold of the tunica intima and strengthened by the connective tissue. And the smallest veins are called venules. To return blood to the heart, veins have special adaptation, large diameter lumens which offer little resistance to the flow, and the walls resemble semilunar heart vessels which prevent the backflow of the blood. The next is the capillary exchange of gases. The exchange of gases in the internal respiration is the process by which gases and are exchanged between capillaries, blood and local body cells. Oxygen is carried from the lungs to the tissue in combination with hemoglobin. Exchange in the tissue takes place between blood at the arterial end and the capillary of the tissue fluid, and then between the tissue fluid and the cell. Exchange of gases takes place by the process of diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of any substance from the higher concentration to until equilibrium is established. The oxygen diffuses down its concentration gradient from the oxygen rich arterial blood into the tissues where oxygen levels are lower because of constant tissue consumption. And the carbon dioxide is one of the waste product of the cell metabolism towards the venoms. Towards the venoms end of the capillary, it diffuses into the blood down the concentration gradient. Blood transport carbon dioxide to the lungs for the excretion by three different mechanisms. First is the dissolve in the waste of the blood plasma. Second, in the chemical combination with sodium in the form of sodium bicarbonate, which is about 70%, and remain in combination with hemoglobin, which is 23%. Next is the exchange of other substance through capillaries, like nutrients. The nutrients including the glucose, amino acid, fatty acid, vitamins and mineral salts required by the body cells are transported around the body in the blood plasma. They diffuses through the semi-permeable capillary walls into the tissue. Arterial end of capillaries carried the fluid and nutrient including the oxygen, and the movement of excess fluid and waste including the carbon dioxide by the venoms of the capillary and the lymphatic capillary. And the water exchanges freely between the plasma and tissue fluid by the osmosis. The next is the capillary and the fluid dynamics. The two main forces determining overall fluid movement across the capillary wall are the hydrostatic pressure, which tends to push fluid out of the bloodstream, and the osmotic pressure of the blood, which tends to pull it back in, and it is due mainly to the presence of the plasma protein, especially the albumin. At the arterial end, the hydrostatic pressure is about 5 pK, and the opposing osmotic pressure of the blood is only 3 pK. So the overall force at the arterial ends of the capillary therefore derives fluid out of the capillary and into the tissue space. The net loss of fluid from the bloodstream must be reclaimed in the same way. And at the venoms end, blood flow is slower than the arterial because the hydrostatic pressure drop along the capillary only 2 pK, this 2 pK, and the osmotic pressure remains unchanged 3 pK. And because this now exceeds hydrostatic pressure, fluid moves back into the capillary. This transfer of substance, including water, to the tissue spaces, it is a dynamic process. As blood flows slowly through the large network of capillaries from the arterial to the venomes ends, there is a constant change. Not all the water and cells waste products return to the blood capillary of the 24 liter. So the fluid that moves out the blood across the capillary walls every day, it is only about 21 liters return to the bloodstream and the venous end of the capillary bed. The excess is drained away from the tissue spaces in the minute lymph capillaries, which originate as blind egg tubes with walls similar to but more permeable than those of all blood capillaries. Extra tissue fluid and some cells waste material enter the lymph capillaries and are even eventually returned to the bloodstream. So this is all about the exchange, capillary exchange, and this video covered the anatomy of heart and blood vessels. Thank you for watching this video.